Afternoon, one and all present here, and good afternoon to all students attending this webinar. We begin with introduction of the panel that we have today for discussion here. So I start with Ms. Varsha Raj. We have all the trainers, including me, Pradyuman Raj, Varsha Raj, Komal Makwana, teaching IELTS at Parul University, and it's been more than 6 to 8 years that we are associated with teaching IELTS at Parul University. This had been a period when all of us had an opportunity to undergo different training programs, be it Cambridge, be it British Council, be it IDP. This was with reference to IELTS. Other than that, all of us have also undergone training programs of Pearson, so which refers to BTE. We have also gone through Cambridge Young Learners exam preparatory training programs. TOEFL teachers training is conducted by ETS Propel, and we have also been part of the same. Okay, so this is how we had been attending sessions. And based on our experience of attending all of these training programs and our experience of teaching students, we have certain criteria fixed up which we follow. Following the same, we teach students, and with every student we have different experience. Okay, so here we are to share our experience of teaching, to make you aware of different aspects of IELTS examination. Sometimes we have different experiences with students, and every experience, honestly telling, with every student is unique in itself. Okay, but based on every unique experiences all of us had at Parul University, and once the batch gets over or one student receives result, we have that discussion कि क्या प्रिपरेशन हुआ था, किस तरह इसने किया, अच्छा इसका इतना अच्छा आया स्कोर, अच्छा ये रह गया इसमें. We have all that discussion regularly in our weekly meetings. Okay, and based on this, what we have understood about these things is we are going to discuss today. Okay. So to start with, I'll introduce, we have Ms. Varsha Raj here with us. Good afternoon. Varsha ma'am has extensive experience of teaching IELTS probably since 2015. She is associated with us and she has been teaching IELTS. Okay, we have Ms. Komal Makwana with us.
Hello everyone.
And Komal ma'am is part of our team even before that. Okay, so it's like earlier we were teaching it in morning hours. Since then, we all are associated with each other. Okay, till the time it got actually formal platform to start teaching IELTS at Parul University. Okay. So we begin with basic information on IELTS. IELTS is for those who are planning to go abroad. Okay, so those who are planning to go abroad, there are two different reasons. Number one, either you apply for PR or you apply for further education. Okay, so if you are applying for PR, that is IELTS General, and if you are going for further studies, that is IELTS Academic. Okay, so these are two different examinations. We do provide coaching for both the examinations, but we also have International Relations Cell specifically working for students' further studies. Okay, and we have study abroad section in it, which looks after admission of students to foreign universities in their desired courses. Okay, so this is how it goes. Okay, now let us understand students who are taking IELTS Academic. Okay, we train them. There are students who take IELTS General. Okay, there is thin line difference in writing task 1 and some sections in reading, I would say, in terms of comprehension passages. The rest of the things are same. So this difference, I just wanted to inform you. There are other examinations like there is TOEFL, there is PTE, there is Duolingo, okay, which are also considered by different universities for taking admission. Okay, we also, last 2.5 months were quite crucial, like from March last week, April entire, and then May. British Council IDP did not conduct any examinations. So that was the time when our students were about to miss September intake. So we started approaching different universities in different countries. So some also asked us to go for Duolingo. Some asked us to start applying for the admission, and they would offer conditional letters that with date that you can submit your IELTS score before your admission to confirm your admission. Okay, so we tried all things from our side by which students do not miss September intake. Okay, so it's again under one umbrella, you get everything. Okay, from IELTS to study abroad process, even booking your flight tickets and everything. We have every facility here. Applying for your visa, booking your tickets. The best part, I would say, is our alumni group. Okay, students who have already reached foreign countries, who have already completed 1 year, 2 years, 3 years there. Okay, so we have group with us. So we introduce you to that platform by which you can also have, a lot of interaction. You might have a lot of butterflies in your stomach when you are going abroad. You will have a lot of questions. So you can address those things, find out proper answers, and this connect with alumni would also help you to get part-time jobs over there. Okay, or working out on your accommodation and other things. So that's how International Relations Cell looks after all the areas. Okay, तो चलिए हम शुरू करते हैं आज का डिस्कशन. There would be students even from different mediums attending the session. We definitely would like to focus English as a medium of this webinar, but sometimes somewhere we may switch to Hindi just to make everybody understand the concepts. ठीक है? So we start with the questions. Varsha ma'am, Komal madam.
Yes, sir.
What we will do is we will have some general questions in the beginning, and we will shift to skills one by one. Okay, so students will also have, because there are some students who have general questions, some students who have skill specific questions, so we can address all of them together. Okay, so we start with okay, there was one question: what is the difference between general and academic, which I addressed to some extent. But Varsha madam, would you like to say what is the difference in IELTS general and academic specific to reading section?
Yes, as Pradyuman sir indicated, there is only just a very thin difference between both. And to be exact, listening is same for general academics and general training and academics. And the main difference comes in writing. For general IELTS examination, writing one will be a letter, whereas in academic exam, it can be a report based on diagrams, charts, bar graphs. So kind of you will be given a diagram, and based on that, you have to report. You have to write a report. And another difference is with the reading session 1 and 2, passage 1 and 2. These are mostly taken from genuine publications. Whereas in IELTS general, it is a bit more easier. But for academic IELTS, passage 1 and 2 of reading, it is kind of more of academic based. So that is the main difference. And speaking is the same for both academic and general IELTS. The speaking doesn't have any difference. So as there is a difference between both exams.
Okay, all right. Thank you, madam. So now we move ahead to questions specific to reading. Okay, there are students who are approaching, asking different questions. I start with the first one. It is like, sir, I don't understand what the passage wants to say. So it's, for example, I am student of commerce, and there is passage on, let's say, history, or passage on medical terms or disease. What to do then? I don't understand the passage. Komal madam?
Well, I believe that keeping dictionary will help. for the initial purpose, like for 10 to 15 days when you start reading. And definitely that will going to help you to understand the terminologies which are there for a particular subject. Like, because I am from science, and if something comes from commerce or arts, so of course it is little difficult for me to understand. But still, if we could keep the dictionary for 10 to 15 days, initial days, it will definitely going to help you.
Okay, all right. Varsha ma'am?
Sir, I would add a bit more to what Komal ma'am said. There is a belief that when you action reading, it is that you have to understand the whole passage and you have to analyze and writing. But to an extent, it is like how we locate the answers. So if you don't understand one word or one sentence in a reading session, I would advise to skip that and move forward. At the end of the day, what we need is that what is being discussed in that passage. And if we are able to understand how we locate those answers, then you are good to go with your answer. Then you can easily find out the answers. Obviously, keeping a dictionary for initial days will help you to be more familiar with the vocabs.
Okay, thank you very much. So to summarize what both of the trainers suggested to our students is, number one, you can start with using dictionary in initial days and gradually try to develop a habit that you don't need dictionary. You can apply your guesswork to understand the meaning. First thing. And second is, your focus should not be on understanding the passage thoroughly. Your focus is to find answers. Okay, so focus on questions so that you get the answers. It may happen that some questions require critical level of comprehension. For that, in case you might have to go to macro level of vocabulary, that is a different case. But I think out of 40 questions, it would hardly be of 1 to 2 questions. Okay. To add further, IELTS Academic and General both has total 40 questions in reading. Your reading is of 1 hour. Okay, and if I talk about academic specifically, it has 3 passages in total. Each passage will have questions varying from 11 to 14. Okay, but the number would go in continuation. So till passage 3, you will have total 40 questions. Okay, we take next question. It is okay. I face issues with true, false, not given. True, still I understand, but I am always confused between false and not given. Yes, Komal madam.
Well, to be very honest, throughout my experience of this IELTS teaching, majority of the ones are getting problem with false and not given.
Not given. Right.
Well, the technique is, I can say, exactly opposite, exactly negative, and exactly contradictive, then only it is not given. Otherwise, in any case, it is false. But for that, I want you to join our IELTS coaching so that you will be able to have the exact idea of what true, false, not given talks about.
Okay, okay. So what madam wants to say is that, you know, in every class, we have specific skills to be discussed. So if in session 1, we focus on, let's say, scanning skills. In session 2, we focus on skimming skills. Session 3 would be specific to true, false, not given only. If you have attended that session of 1.5 hours, definitely you won't have any more doubts left with that specific type of question. Okay, thank you, madam. Okay. Now this has been asked by many people. I mean, many students, and that is, sir, I find passage 3 difficult. Okay, so is there any psychology behind it, or is it fact? What?
See,
yes.
if I can say, to be very honest, being a student of IELTS earlier, right, it is very much important to target question first instead of focusing on the whatever is given as a question, text.
Passage.
Right, passage. Because being a science student, it doesn't mean that I should get only the science matter which is given. I could get arts or commerce. So I have to be ready for anything. The one thing which is very much important is to attack the question, understand the question first, then only you will be able to get the answer. That is the most important. If you will think that I am afraid of this much of big paragraph, this is not of my genre or something like that, it is not going to help you. It is very much easier. It's just that you have to get into it. For that, I believe that you understand the question properly, then only you will get the answer.
Okay, all right. I think, yeah, Varsha madam.
I would also like to add, as the structure of IELTS, if you look at it, obviously it is set in a pattern that sessions will become more difficult as we move from one passage to another. So it is very obvious that the passage will be lengthy and questions will be a bit tougher. But as you are in a flow from one passage to another, I don't think there is any psychological thing, because you are already getting used to that pattern. In first paragraph, it would be easier. Second, it will be like a bit more easier to find the answer. By third, you are mentally prepared to attend that section. So even though the passage is lengthy, I think that students should not be concerned about that. So they can, as ma'am said, once you focus on the questions and once you get the right tricks and tips to crack that, then you can definitely attend it without any doubts.
Okay, there's one more question in the same line, and that is, I get tired by the time I reach passage 3. So how to address this?
That too, I would say, like, that is because of the lack of practice. One thing.
Okay, good.
Because like if you are sitting there for a long 1 hour and writing and just focusing on one thing, it is very normal to get very much moved and tired. So once you start practicing, keeping that time, like following a time management and focusing on the question, easily that problem can be overcome.
Great. So students, crux of the matter is that regular practice of taking tests at home by yourself would help you to, physically be ready to sit for 1 hour and mentally be ready to concentrate for 1 hour, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. We move ahead to next question. Okay. And this is about, okay. The question is, always I go wrong in matching heading. What to do? Okay. Yeah.
Again,
Ma'am,
as I
okay.
said,
You can, ma'am. Komal, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, Komal madam.
yes, again, as I said, as in true personal given, you read the the headings, understand the heading, that is more important, then you attack the passage. If you just attack the passage and then you will read the headings, I guarantee you will not get the answer. So as usual, first attack the question, so understand the headings, then only. So again, come in IELTS classes, you will get it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Varsha ma'am.
I will also suggest to practice on how to locate keywords. To an extent, that will help you to predict or to find out the right answers. So again, as ma'am said, there are certain techniques we need to master. There are certain tips that we need to keep in mind so that we can save time as well as we will be able to locate the right answers.
And I generally, people say that you read the first line and this last line of the paragraph, you will get the answer. It is not at all like that. It is not. It has nothing to do with that.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So please don't go with it. You will definitely get the wrong answer if you will follow that. So of course, again, I will say the same thing. Come back here.
I totally agree with what Komal madam mentioned. Okay, students have a habit that they refer to a lot of YouTube videos. They start following different channels. They subscribe to them, and they come up with a question: "कि ये ऐसे कैसे? ये तो ऐसे होना चाहिए." Okay, but then they don't understand the exact logic, like why is it this way or why is it that way. For example, writing an overview in task 1. Okay, some suggested to write as a second paragraph, while some suggested to write it as fourth, last paragraph. Okay, and then they have a lot of notions in mind that this is only right method, this is wrong, which is not the case, right? So students, you also need to understand the logic behind that suggestion. So I totally agree with what Komal madam mentioned. There are certainly some videos which say that for matching heading you have to read line 1 and first and last line of the paragraph, but it doesn't work. Okay, out of let's say 7 paragraph, it may by fluke, I repeat, by fluke, work for 1 paragraph, but not at all for all paragraphs. Okay, so we shouldn't go into such fallacies. It's better to have practice and get proper training. Okay, so again, what ma'am mentioned, I reiterate, it would be great to enroll with us and have experience, first-hand experience to know exactly what and how about the IELTS. Okay, we move to next question. Okay, there are some common questions now, and this is quite interesting. The question a student has asked, how much time do I need to get 6.5 bands?
That is obvious, sir, because there are so many agencies. I don't want to name anyone, but come join with us. You will crack your IELTS in 3 days, 5 days.
Even 7 days crash courses are there.
Even saying 7 days. But I literally wonder. I was a student of English language and literature. Still, I took some days of practice to crack my IELTS when I gave it. So I really wonder how these students are going to crack their IELTS in 3 days and score a 6.5 or 7. That I would say that is not possible with that limited knowledge I have from that last 5 to 6 years. That is not at all possible. Once you have proper training, once you have proper practice of giving tests, the right ideas to use, the right techniques to learn and find out the answers, only then you will be able to score 6.5 or above. And that also depends on the student. If you are very good at using your English language, then you may take maybe 15 days or 20 days. And again, if you are not that good or if you don't have that command over language, then you may take some more time. So that is why we designed our sessions as 50 sessions we have. So in this 15 sessions, on an average, everybody will be able to crack their IELTS. And if they are taking more time, then we are offering them that also. We are without charging more, we are giving them constant support. So only with all these things, one can score 6.5. So we cannot give a definite time period, but I guess 50 days will be more than enough for an average student to crack his or her IELTS.
Okay.
Amalgamation of focus is more important. If you don't have a focus on the things, it's just that teacher teaches, giving you the skills and everything. If you don't practice, even if the student is from particularly English medium, inverted commas, right? That only my students have scored 5.5 in those who are from English medium, but those who are from Gujarati medium, they have scored more than 7. So it doesn't have to go to the that one also. Apart from that, focus, as I said, focus is more important. Even if you want to give in 15 days or 21 days, everybody can do if it is required. I cannot say that it is only 50 sessions, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Right. And this reminds me the discussion that we had 4 years back when we wanted to start it exactly and how to plan modules and do things. So we were working out on it. We decided that for each skill, we will have 10 sessions each and plus 10 practice sessions. So that's how we thought of having total 50 sessions, right? And with that logic, we are working out and it's going wonderful. I must say it's going wonderful. Yes, as Varsha ma'am mentioned, that there are some students who may need more time to spend, right, to improve certain skills. Looking at that, what we started doing is we started offering 1-year membership to students because we know that students also have their final year going on. Along with that, they enroll for IELTS classes. So sometimes it becomes difficult for them to manage everything along with their regular assignments, mid-semester test, or even, field visit, internship, or things which come up in final year. So we totally understand that, and respecting that, we thought of extending membership of students. So students have 1-year membership at Parul University once they enroll for IELTS, and here they can repeat batches free of cost. Okay. As both of the madams mentioned, you need concentration, focused study, and sometimes you have to put in extra efforts from your side. Okay, so though whatever we do in 50 sessions, other than that, there are good number of students who ask us for additional study material. What we do is we have a Cambridge IELTS test series with us. Okay, so that's what we provide to students. And there are, I think, 16 books now, from test book 1 to book 16. We have all the books with us. The only condition is that we provide 1 book at a time to student for additional practice. Each book has 4 tests. So students complete the tests, show us as a proof that they have completed the test, and we provide another book. and that is also free of cost. Everything is included in one-time fee payment. Your 1-year membership, okay, this unlimited study material. Okay. We also, looking at the pandemic situation and demand of time, we shifted to online. And in online also, whenever student is unable to attend the class, what we did, we started uploading recorded sessions in Google Classroom. Okay, so we formed Google Classroom. Material in soft copy is available there. If teachers have made notes, all the trainers, we upload our notes there, right? We upload tests there. Students can take tests from there. And we record our sessions. Recording of these sessions are also uploaded on the same portal. So you can have access to Google Classroom. Let's say if it's lesson 5 going on today, reading lesson 5. Okay, and I have connection issues at home, or let's say I don't have power at home, or maybe I have guests at home, any matter, because of which I could not attend the session. Okay, I had an exam, let's say. So tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or maybe Saturday, Sunday when I'm free, I can go to Google Classroom and find out the sessions which I missed. I can go through recorded sessions. So we also looked after all the problems that students face and finding solution. Now everything is available for students. Okay. All right. We move to next question. Oh, beautiful question. And I would like to ponder more on this. The question is, what is the difference between British Council and IDP? Okay. I would like to state something from my side. Probably this would be the last webinar where this question is raised. Now onwards, this question wouldn't be raised. Yes. British Council is closing, and British Council is in a process of handing over everything to IDP, right? So now in India, it would be only one body conducting IELTS examination. That will be IDP. Okay, so British Council is still into functioning for maybe 2-3 more weeks. Okay, they have probably stopped taking booking dates. So now everything would be done by IDP. So if there are students might not be taking coaching with us but are planning to book the dates of examination, please go to IDP, not to British Council, right? And just to break the myth, both the examining bodies are conducting exams. Okay, please remember this. Questions are designed, paper is designed by Cambridge. Okay, it's like we have many students in Gujarat from GTU, right? So if GTU has 80 engineering colleges, for example, and today you have mathematics paper, okay, that paper is same for all 80 institutes. Why? Because the paper comes from GTU head office. Okay, it doesn't come from any institute. Okay, you have to understand this. So that is one paper common for all the institutes. Exactly like that, IDP and British Council are two different bodies conducting examination. Paper comes from Cambridge. Okay, so hope this doubt is clear to everyone. Yes, one more question. And this is also technical question. I would like both of you to share experience of your students. The question is, which one is easy? Computer-based or paper-based?
I would say it depends on the student. Okay. One student is very much familiar to their laptops or keyboard. If they are good at typing, if they have good typing speed, then computer-based is for them. But normally, some students find it difficult because they may run out of time at times because their typing speed is very low. And especially with listening, when you give pen and paper-based test, you are getting that 10 minutes extra time where you can carefully transfer your answers. And their chances of spelling mistakes is like quite zero. But when it comes to computer-based, you are not getting that 10 minutes time. So it is having an impact on some students. And obviously, some students are very comfortable in giving computer-based. And we also have a bunch of students who have cleared their IELTS with on computer-based exam with their desired bands. So I think it depends on the student and their proficiency in using a computer.
Yes, of course. I would like to give one of my student example only. She started with paper-based, but then because of this pandemic, and she was in a hurry to give examination. She converted herself into computer, and then she found out it is very much easy. For her, it was easier as compared to
That's
paper
right.
based, and she was typing fast, and everything was very much easier for her for writing particularly. So, and she got very good bands as well. So yeah, it is depends on student, as madam says.
Okay, okay. And I would also like to know, like, what are the disadvantages or advantages probably of computer-based as well as paper-based? Anything that student needs to take care of before selecting?
Those who have the computer background, that like CSE IT students, those who are every day doing things in computer, for them it is very much easier.
Okay.
For the person like people, those who are not on the time all the time on a computer, for them it's a bit little difficult. Apart from that, there are students, they are afraid of writing because they have not written in their school as well, because
Right.
so they are afraid of writing, or writing mein kya likhenge, like, so that is something. They are very good for the same thing. If they are typing, they are very good. So it depends on person to person, I guess.
Right.
And from my experience, one thing I have noticed, there are few of my students who tried both, giving both in their mock test. So what they inform me is like, ma'am, when we have reading, especially, we have that liberty to use pen and underline the keywords, which are helping us in managing our time later on. But in computer-based exam, that is what we are lacking. So the kind of confidence when we write a reading session, when we attempt a reading session on pen and paper-based exam, then that is, we feel that we are more confident on that particular answer. That is one thing that students normally share with us. And as I mentioned earlier, students also complain that, ma'am, in a hurry, when we type in listening questions, chances of making errors
Typing
in spelling
error,
is more.
Yes.
So, but when it comes to pen and paper, even if you are writing the wrong answer, okay, this is the answer. But when you transfer it to paper, you can concentrate more on the spelling. And 10 minutes, I think, is a very good amount of time for you to transfer the answers. So I guess, again, as ma'am said, it depends on the student. If he is comfortable in typing, then they can approach computer-based test.
I totally understand this. And I would like to state one more thing here. It's like sometimes, okay, I remember one of my students had this experience when she was submitting tests here. Okay, she was getting 8, 8.5 and 9 probably in 3 to 4 mock tests in listening. Okay, but when it came to actual examination, she got 5. Right? So probably what we thought when we discussed everything out, we got to conclusion that while transferring answers from question paper to OMR sheet, she might have missed one question, okay, and the entire thread went wrong. Right? So because of this, she might have lost marks because there was not even a single test in which she scored less than 8. Okay, and she had taken probably 7 to 8 tests, mock tests here before taking the examination. So this is also one strong suggestion to all the students. Yes, it is good that you get 10 minutes to transfer your answers so that you don't even make spelling errors, but you have to be careful about the numbers, that you are matching answers, writing answers exactly in the same cell where it is to be written. Okay, be careful about this. Okay, so though there is advantage, there is this disadvantage. If in hurry you miss the number, that would be a problem. Similarly, in online, like listening, you don't get transfer time in computer-based examination. But the good part over there is that when you are typing, okay, you get word count at the bottom corner of the page, okay, on screen. So that will be an advantage that you have it over there. Okay, but the disadvantage is that if you're not if it's not convenient for you to think and type, okay, because thinking the way IELTS writing is expected is new, which you have practiced or undergone in coaching and you have started doing. But along with that, if this is second new thing, that typing, managing typing, then you are doing 2 new things together. So it requires a lot of practice from your side. If practice is not enough, then definitely it would hinder your performance some way. Okay. And there are students, I mean, we have experience. There have been 2 students, again, from computer engineering, as Komal madam mentioned. They finished their essay writing in 28 minutes instead of 40 minutes. Okay, and they had written what, 280 to 90 words. So fairly what was expected, they did it. Okay, as per the structure. One student got 7 bands, another student got 6.5 bands. So that's fair good score, right? So this is what we have to understand. So you need to develop this practice. Okay, there's one more myth which students generally discuss, कि computer based is levai. Okay, तो पण केम levai. So the concern is they think the way we type in Word file or the way we type in our email inbox when we compose the mail, if spelling is wrong, it shows red underline. Okay, but in IELTS examination in writing, that software would not show you red line. Okay, so if there is any typing error, if there is any space error, if there is any capital small letter error, you have to be clear about it. Okay, that page will not tell you anything. It would just tell you word count. Okay, so like as I mentioned, both things have plus and minuses. Okay, all right. So now we shift to writing. Okay, the very first question that students ask is, should we write task 1 first or should we write task 2 first? There are some YouTubers who suggest that you should write task 2 first.
I believe task 1 first. Because
I also second comment.
the one reason is, first, the weightage of task 1 is less. That is 3 bands. And the weightage of task 2 is 6. So first you finish task 1 and then you take enough time to write task 2. And I always tell my students to finish it between 15 to 20 minutes. And although you are just writing 150 to 180 words, not more than that. Right? So first you finish that task 1 and then all concentration should be given to task 2 to gain more bands. Right? So that is what I believe.
Okay.
Same as Komal ma'am said, task 1 weightage is 3 and for task 2 it is double. So if a student who is like good at writing, if she or he can finish it in 15 minutes, you have that 5 minutes extra in your hand, which you can utilize in framing your task 2 general essay in a much better way. So normally what happens is students fail at managing their time. Even if he or she is very good at writing, at times they fail at managing time. So if you can finish task 1, including all the relevant points in 150 or 180 words, if you are having, even if it is even it's 2 minutes, you can utilize that in writing your task 2, which carries more weightage. So even I advise my students to go for task 1 first.
Okay, even I second with the same opinion. I totally agree with what both of you mentioned. I totally agree that students should take up task 1 first so that they finish it early. And what I see is that, task 1 is quite flat. Okay, it's report writing. You have to write what you see. Okay, you need to have definitely an analytical eye for it, but it's still a flat type of writing, and it's brief, you write and it's over. But when it comes to task 2, you have to do a lot of brainstorming because nothing is provided to you. Everything you have to produce. Okay, so it's literal production skill that you do over there. And sometimes it happens with students that they write till last minute. Okay, so saving some time in task 1, which actually helps you to, buy more time for task 2, where you can at least think and prioritize what exactly and how exactly are you going to write things. Yes. Okay. How important to have advanced vocabulary in writing? So what's the focus? Students, okay, I share one experience here and then I would request both of you to share yours. I had one student who always carried pocket dictionary with him. Okay, if any topic is given, that student would search for the most difficult words and would bring in those words. Okay, and sometimes it looks like purple patches in the essay. Okay, it comes out as if, oh, from where have you brought this word? Okay, this is not relevant to the context. But what they do is they just look for synonyms and they select the synonym which is new for them, which they have never heard. and they write it. Okay, so yes.
See, for me, I believe cohesion and coherence is much more important rather than concentrating only on using the good vocab. There are my students, they have just used normal vocab, but the cohesion and coherence through which you can get 7 bands as well in writing. I do agree that certain amount of good words are needed, but as if sir said that the one who is searching for the good words and similar words and everything, I don't agree with it. You just write in a simple language, meaningful language, and words, honestly speaking, talk about the topic, not what you know. It is there is a difference between what you know and what has been asked. Right? You want to use certain words because you know, but it is not apt for that particular topic. You are not supposed to use it. Right. So
Even I have similar experience like Pradyuman sir. It will be like there were times where I literally had to search for that word in dictionary.
Yes, I totally
Even
agree.
So generally, what I ask students is, I tell them, like, you need to learn certain vocabulary, but you need to practice it in your daily life. Only then you can write it in your essay. And sometimes maybe the synonym will be right, but they are wrong, using it in the wrong place, or maybe in the wrong tense they are using it. So even in that place, they are losing their marks. So I always tell them, write that particular word which you have learned only and only if you are confident about that word and you have used it in prior. I ask them to learn words and create sentences, and we practice that in our speaking sessions in class. So as ma'am said, content is important, as well as good vocabs can also fetch you certain points, which is good.
Yes, madam. Komal madam.
See, in that, if you go through any IDP or British Council website, in that also they have not written that you should use good vocab. They have just said that use simple, normal language or a normal, to get good pens. So please, students, if this is from my end, don't go with the words. Yes, if you want to go with word, but just use it as Varsha ma'am says, that use it in a regular day, and then you will understand that there are certain words which are meant for certain sentence, not for all.
Okay, all right. So here I would also like to state, it's, instead of students have that habit of bringing in like this difficult synonyms, or the longer the word, more the marks you get. Okay, so these are all myths. Okay, we shouldn't focus on such things. Instead, I would suggest students to focus on topic-specific vocabulary.
That is what.
So if it's a topic on education, then you should have vocabulary related to that. Okay, so for example, you have curriculum, academic year, you can have evaluation, okay, assignment word you use, okay, project word. So if it is relevant to the topic, you can use it. Otherwise, thinking of any XYZ difficult word, bringing that in, yes. One thing what you can do is, that if you are writing agree disagree essay, where you can have I totally agree with, and then to show agreement, what sort of transition words you can use. What madam mentioned, Komal madam, coherence and cohesion. Okay, so if you can bring in proper transition words also, okay, the other side of the coin is, and that's how you present the other side, so that would be counted as good transition taking place. Okay, so that is also a way of presenting your language skills. Okay, we go to next question, and okay, here it is. It refers to grammar now. Okay, how grammar is evaluated in writing?
Of course, it is evaluated, even comma space in grammar.
Yes, so it's not just about tenses or sentence structures, but also about punctuation marks. Okay, capital, small, comma, question mark, everything matters.
Yes, matters.
Okay, when I teach students, I tell them that first thing you need to learn is to express your ideas correctly in perfect sentences. Once you learn that, only then move for other levels. If you are not able to achieve the first level, don't think of writing complex sentences, okay, or longer sentences, sort of, run-on sentences. So student has written one big paragraph of 10 lines, but those 10 lines, if we look at it, actually are 2 sentences. and there actually they make mistakes. Okay, so instead of this, you should understand presenting your idea properly. If you are able to do this perfectly, then you can think of next level. Okay, if I want to make complex sentence, if I want to use though, although, how to? If I want to use not only but also, how can I? Okay, so you can go to that, but next level. So your first target should be writing everything properly, correctly, following the structure. Okay, yes, I would like to have your opinions as well.
Yes, sir, I do agree with you. Of
Okay.
course.
All right. So then we move to next. Okay. This has been asked to me by n number of students, and I was tired answering it. This time I would expect you to answer it. And the question is, sir, if we take exam from Rajkot or Pune, we get more score.
It has nothing to do with any Rajkot or Goa or Pune. It has nothing to do with it. You will be, if you are from Baroda, be at Baroda. If you are from Ahmedabad, be at Ahmedabad and give exam from that. Examination paper is same, right? It has nothing to do with any place. To be very honest, don't go with anything like that.
The students
Actually,
come
I
up
also
with
came
their
across
personal
this.
experiences. Sir, my neighbor gave exam from Vadodara. She didn't get score. She went to Rajkot to take exam. She got 6.5. Okay, so this is how they come up always.
Actually, sir, certain students approach me, like they said, like, ma'am, when I this agency, they told me to give my exam in Surat because students giving in Surat are getting more marks. So should I travel?
Okay.
It was, and some people advise like you should give only in IDP, then only you will get good marks. You should give your exam in British Council, then only your writing will have good score. So these are myths, I think, created by people around. They are not getting that authentic information.
That's right.
And that, I believe that is where we stand out. At least we are genuine. At least we are
Yes.
genuine in these cases.
Okay, and now we move to speaking. Now, okay, this is question which is asked by majority of the students, and the question is, sir, we know what to speak, but when we speak, we are not able to speak. Okay, so they know which points they have in mind, but when they start speaking, they forget everything. It goes blank.
Okay, again, I would say practice, practice, practice. So it is like any other language. English is like any other language. Even if it is mother tongue, until and unless you practice, you cannot master it. For example, my husband is a Keralite. He is born and brought up in Gujarat. His Malayalam is very poor because he don't practice it. He is least cared about practicing it. But once he started interacting with people from my side, now he has improved. That shows that how much you practice, then that much outcome you will get. So it is very important to practice your speaking skill. At least you should start speaking in English to people whom you are comfortable with. So there you shouldn't keep in mind that this person may judge me. That is nothing to do with your speaking. So you should break that shell. You should overcome your inhibition and you should start speaking. So this is what we ask our students. Here, nobody is going to judge you. We are not going to judge you. We are here to help you. So we made a strategy that we only converse in English with them. So there is a point where they need to communicate, but they have no other option. So slowly they start speaking. And we have a couple of students who were from Gujarati medium, and they had 6.5 in speaking because they were ready to work and they were willing to practice also. So again, it is practice.
So there is one of my students, he is saying that, madam, you told me to speak, but whether I'm speaking perfect or not, we will check it. Because every time you are saying that you should speak in, you should converse yourself with your friends with English, so that you can come into the contact, you be with that environment so that you can. So then I tell them, you start doing it slowly, gradually. When you will do more practice, as Rasha ma'am says, then definitely you yourself will tell, no, this is how, and this is how, right? So where I have gone wrong, where I have gone right, you yourself will tell me after 15 weeks. Right, so.
That's right. I would like to share one of my experiences here. there was one student from Gujarati medium who was facing issues with tenses in speaking. So if there is a topic where he was supposed to share his experience would be in past tense. Okay, but student would still speak in present tense, or student would start his speech in past tense because he knew कि मुझे experience बोलना है तो past में आएगा. But while speaking, he doesn't realize that when he switches to present. Okay, so to that student, I suggested what Komal madam said: start practicing, to start speaking with people. After that, when you practice cue cards, record it. Okay, record it and then listen to your own speech.
Correct.
So when you listen to your own speech, I said कि अगर तुम खुद की mistake निकाल सकोगे, ठीक है, तो वो चीज तुम lifetime याद रखोगे.
Perfect.
Right. So if students are able to do that, so next stage would be when they are speaking, they will be able to recall. Okay, acha, I made this mistake. Same as in my recording session, which I had analyzed. So that will help students to work faster in getting the grip of tenses and speaking it properly. And the next question is, okay, whatever I prepare, I'm not able to speak up to 1.30 or to 2 minutes. I always end up at 1 minute.
Well, here I would like to say, come join here. We will make you to speak for 2 minutes for sure.
I would like to say that, we as students, we are following a lot of techniques and tricks in speaking, where our students are able to speak at ease for 2 minutes, okay, without any problem. So that inhibition, as Varsha ma'am mentioned, has to go. Okay, with practice, definitely you can, and there are a lot of techniques that we work on. Okay. Now here again, a vocabulary question is there. It says we know a lot of words, but when we are speaking, we are not able to recall those words.
See, here I would like to say what, if whatever topic is given, you write whatever you want to speak. You have to write, as in you have to make one,
Mind map.
A map, or we can say a script, right? Whatever you are going to speak, you are supposed to write it down. Definitely within 7 days, you will get your all the problems solved. This is my guarantee. Well, this is this is my trick which I told you, but then for more tricks, come and join.
Yes.
And also I would like to add, once you learn a new word, as we all make our students do, we'll make them practice it in their everyday speech. We encourage them to create sentences using that words. Every day we make, okay, if you have learned, this is what I do in my class. If a student is coming up with a new word, I'll ask him to create sentences. I'll give them certain circumstances and I'll give them certain situations and ask them to speak using this word. So all this will help them to memorize the word, and they will have an idea on where and which point of context I should use this.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Once you write, you will remember, right? And because you don't write, you just mug up the things and then you want to speak, it will not going to help you. You write and then you speak.
Okay. I mean, this is a little weird, but I would like to share it here. I used to tell students that what do you do the most in a day? Okay. And obvious answers from the set of students were Facebooking or Instagramming. Okay. And so I suggested them, okay, fine. Every day you learn 2 new words. Okay. To appreciate something. So if you want to say splendid, okay, use it in comments.
Yeah.
So at least appreciate 5 people every day using that word, whatever new word you have learned. Okay. So write it in comment, in that message of the post, appreciate that person on Facebook, on Instagram. Okay. It's good thing that you are doing. You will feel good from within, and the result is you are learning the word.
Of course. Writing is
So
we can also use that now. practical thing.
Yes, so it has, slow result, limited result, but yes, it is working. Okay, so it's going well. Okay, and oh yes, this I had not expected, but yes, it is there. It says, Okay, this is from the students who completed the exam. Okay, it's from their side. Sir, I took the exam, everything was going well, but I don't know. Examiner was constantly asking me why. And I was getting angry, like, why is he asking me why?
It means you are not answering the question properly.
Oh, yes.
whatever he is asking, you are not understanding the question and you are not answering the question properly.
So here
That
students,
is where you need proper training. How to answer a question. How to block your examiner from asking a why.
How to
For that
avoid
you need
WS
certain
question.
techniques.
okay, I would use the same word what Varsha madam mentioned, how to block examiner from asking why. And that's what we teach here.
Yeah.
Okay. Acha, now there are some informative questions. Probably students would be able to get it from website, but I'm just asking it if we can share some information to them. If student is not satisfied with the result that he or she has got and wants to apply for reassessment, how much do they charge for reassessment?
Around 8,000.
Yes, even I remember I had seen it probably a year back and it was around 8,000. Yes. Next question is that what if student wants to cancel the exam? How much amount is deducted or refunded?
I get 25% will be deducted and 75% you will get it.
25%,
Okay.
I
Like
guess.
11,000,
Okay.
around 11,000 you will get it if you pay 14,400 right now.
Okay, all right.
To be
Okay.
very
I didn't know it exactly, but I had an idea that it's 11,000 something that they get, not precisely what you mentioned. So yes, it means
Being a mathematician,
25%
I can-
is deducted. Probably they would be counting it as administration charges or
Yes,
something like that.
administration. Yes.
Yeah, and 75% you will get refunded.
That.
You should get a valid reason, otherwise they will not be able to do it.
Okay,
Ah.
so here, though there is not a question, I would like to add something from my side. Student also had a question sometimes that can we postpone the date of exam? Okay, so what Komal madam mentioned just now, you need to have valid reason. Okay, I remember in December, one of my students had booked the date and he met with an accident. He had fracture. He was supposed to undergo operation. Okay, so he provided that doctor's prescription, emailed to British Council examining body, and he was allowed to, shift the date. So he shifted the date sometime later in January, probably third week of January. So that's possible, but as Komal madam mentioned, there needs to be valid reason.
With proof.
Okay. Yeah, with proof. Okay. Okay. Now students have become analytical. There's one question that I find map filling easy in reading, but difficult in listening.
Array, just go through prepositions. That's it.
Okay.
As in, the
Concept.
keywords are the landmarks, right? Right? And you just
Yes.
have to go with the proposition, preposition of the noun. And noun is normally is the answer in map.
Okay.
So after the after preposition, whatever is there, yeah, that is your answer. That is what and the direction, of course. That is and the direction, of course. Right, left, north.
I think this is, quite tricky suggestion that she has suggested, and it would be the most fruitful. You have to be taking care of prepositions and nouns, because map filling would always be writing names of, area, building, section, service, and names means noun. Okay. Yes. So prepositions.
Even the direction you have to
In maps, directions would also help. Okay. Next is, I score well regularly in part 1, 2, 3, but I go wrong in part 4. I lose maximum marks in part 4. That's the question. For listening.
Majorly what I see, there are 5 accents which they use, in my knowledge. American, Canadian, Australian. The last one is Scottish. American, New Zealander, American, Australian, and Scottish, British, of course. How can I?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So the Scottish is like, these people, they speak very fast, and usually they put it in the section 4, and that is the reason people are not getting it. That is what my observation is. But for what I believe is, we want 9 on 9 bands, whether it is a Canadian, whether it is Australian, whether it is British, or whether it is Scottish. We have to crack. That's it.
All right. Okay. So it's about accent. Now, in case, Komal madam, students are not comfortable with particular accent or they don't know. Being
Yes.
trainer, probably you know that these are the accents
Yes,
asked
yes,
in
yes.
examination.
Yes.
So do students actually need to know how many accents are there or what?
No, there
type
is
of-
no need. There is no need because you have asked this question. That was the only reason I
Okay.
showed. Otherwise, I don't tell them this because they will say,
Okay.
"Oh, five different type of accent. We are not dealing with one. We are not able to deal with one accent. How will I deal with the other five?" So there is no need actually.
Okay, all right. There's one more observation also which I had, that some students find part 4 easy, but part 3
3.
difficult. And the reason is they say that part 3 has MCQs.
MCQs, yes.
Huh.
The reason is Anna, Philip, and David. If there
Huh.
is more, of course, there is more than 2 people, they will talk, right? So you have to
Okay.
remember Philip also, and you have to remember David also. And according to Philip, he stays, he believes, he thinks. And in the question, again, as I told, the main is a question. If you don't understand the question, you will not get the answer. So he thinks something else, he believes something else, he states something else. So what is the question? If he thinks, then whatever he thinks, in the option they will say everything: believes, thinks, and states. Right? So that is the major reason people are getting confused, according to
Okay.
my observation.
Yes, so
So
which
if you-
means all 3 options which are mentioned,
Of
all
course,
3
they
are
will be there. They
spoken.
will speak all the options.
Yes. Okay. Any other suggestion for this, Varsha madam? You need to unmute yourself. Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Pretty much, I think there is a network issue.
Okay. All right.
Leave and join again.
We are talking about listening part 3 MCQs in case if there are problems. You need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Huh.
So again, I can also tell students like, okay, you can understand the keywords, and
Yes.
these keywords can help you a lot in finding out the proper answer. Other than
Okay.
that, I think you have discussed already.
All right. So almost everything is covered. Yeah. Last question we take for the day, and that is, what if I miss question? What to do then? How to find answer of it?
Forget, or have an educational guess. Just move forward because you are not getting back. Once it is gone. Don't miss your other answers by missing one answer. Don't mess your other.
I have no choice but to agree with what ma'am is telling here. Okay, you may feel offended or you may feel she being too direct, but that is the fact. Okay, because audio is going on, you have to match with the pace of audio. If you have missed one answer, just forget it. Okay, and move to next questions. Yes, that's quite practical solution which madam has suggested.
And I would like to add, Pradyuman sir, at times I ask, once you are done with your listening and once you have transferred your answer, still you have time, you will have certain idea about like what was being discussed on that particular point of time. With that, if you have any guesswork, you can write it down because we don't have any
Definitely.
negative marking.
Yes,
If
we
you are
don't
lucky-
have any negative marking.
That's
If you
what
are
I said.
lucky,
Educational
that
guess.
answer can be right. It's
Hmm.
50-50.
All right.
Otherwise,
Yes, so
don't stress over what is already skipped.
Okay. All right. So I think it was quite fruitful, and those who attended would have got a lot of insights into IELTS. So you can understand these were just, discussion part which we had. Definitely, if you attend classes with us, if you enroll here, okay, you are going to have more and more techniques, okay, acquainting yourself to more techniques and getting good results. It might be the case that you are stuck at a particular score and you're not able to move. So here we are, all of us, Okay, and in case of IELTS, we have all batches at different times going on. It's morning, afternoon, even evening. Okay, so I mean, those who are working or those who are just finished their education and free at home, we also have a facility of offering them 2 batches together. So they attend 2 batches where different things are going on, and 2.5 months course can be completed in 1 month also. Okay, so we try to make you help you in doing whatever we can to achieve your dream, fulfilling your dream of going abroad, and that's what we are here for.
Okay, I think Pradyuman sir, you can also tell them about the timings, because we are live on Facebook. Many people want to know the timings.
So it's morning, it's 10 to 11:30. Afternoon, it's 3 to 4:30, and evening, it's 6:30 to 8. Okay, we do it 5 days in a week, and Saturday, Sunday, students have tests to take, tests to submit. Okay, all right. So Komal madam, Varsha madam, it was quite an interesting way of having discussion with both of you. Okay, and though we meet and we have regular meetings, this was quite a different experience of having discussion at online platform.
Yes,
and expecting that students would have got best from this. Okay, making the doubts clear or whatever questions they had. Okay, so once again, thank you both of you, and with this we end today's session. Okay,
Thanks to
thank
you
you very much.
for giving this platform to us.
All right. Okay.
all right. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice
Bye.
day.